What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another banging video of Serious Strategics. And on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about 5 myths that civilians have about Army/military personnel. That is today's topic. Alright, myth number 1 that civilians have about all military personnel. They think that all military personnel makes a lot of money. Man, if that ain't the biggest myth of all, man, don't get me wrong. Being an Army soldier, there's certain benefits and privileges that you get. But it only really affects you if you're married with children. If you're a single soldier, E1, in the military, you might as well work at 7-Eleven, Burger King, McDonald's. That's about how much money you're going to be making. As a matter of fact, depending on where you live in the States, you might make more at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? But there is a lot of opportunities and a lot of things that you won't have afforded to you if you were working at 7-Eleven or McDonald's. Like, you know what I'm saying, you get to travel and see places. But, you know, when they say travel, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go to Greece and I'm going to go to Italy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go to the Bahamas. No, that's not the type of traveling you're going to get. Yes, if you're stationed in Germany, you might get to see Italy and Greece and a lot of those European places. But don't think you're gonna come join the Army and go to beautiful beaches and, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a few deployments, a few places that you get to go that's real nice and real beautiful. Like, for example, my last deployment, I was able to go to Jordan and I was able to check out the Dead Sea and one of the best damn hotel resorts I've ever seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? So you do get to experience things that regular people won't get to do. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got money and stuff like that. But it's not what you think, man. A lot of people think that, oh, in the Army, you know, you make a lot of money. And not right off the top, man. You got to put in that time. You got to put in that work. You got to become like at least like an E5, you know what I'm saying, a sergeant, an E5 sergeant, before you start seeing a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of, you know, change. And especially if you're married with kids, you know, because when you're married with kids and you deploy, you're gonna get separation pay, you're gonna get hazardous duty pay. You know, there's certain pays that you get, you know what I'm saying, for being away from your family. And of course, when you're deployed, you know, you get certain extra pays. And, you know, we also get a clothing allowance, we get a housing allowance and stuff like that. But don't think that because we're getting those allowances that we're balling, we got all this type of money. No, I mean, we do have, you know, we do make a little, you know, we do make decent money. I'm not going to say that the Army don't pay well. The Army pays pretty decent. But for what we got to go through in the Army, if you ask me if the pay is worth it, I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of like, it's not so cut and dry. You can't say, oh, yes, it's worth it. Oh, no, it's not worth it. Because in some cases, it is worth it. Like, for example, when COVID-19 came through, and a lot of people weren't working and getting paid, we were sitting at the house getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So we were just sitting at the house chilling, getting paid, being in the Army. You know what I'm saying? We never had to worry about our paychecks. So one good thing about being in the military is that stability. You're going to get that paycheck. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get that paycheck. Whether you get it once a month, it depends on if you know, depends on how you pick it. If you want to choose to get paid once a month, you're going to get that check once a month. Or if you got it divided, you're going to get paid on the 1st and the 15th, you know, like clockwork. Like, you know what I'm saying? Unless you owe the Army money, then, you know, hey, you know, hey, all I'm going to tell people is Uncle Sam giveth and Uncle Sam taketh. You know what I'm saying? So although we get paid extra money for certain things, trust me, Uncle Sam is quick to take that money, especially when you go to the field. And anyways, I'm not going to get into too much of the politics, but one of the biggest myths that civilians have about military personnel is that we all get paid a shit ton of money, and that's just not true. We get paid decent. It's decent. You know what I'm saying? It's decent. Now, if you're in the Air Force, on the other hand, you get paid for everything. You get paid extra, you know what I'm saying, for all types of craziness. The housing, you know what I'm saying, living conditions is subpar living conditions. Air Force, you know what I'm saying, the meals that the Air Force got, man. When I was deployed, man, when I was deployed on the Army side, man, we were over there on the struggle bus when it came to meal. We were eating MREs, we had crappy meals, crappy chows, you know what I'm saying, it was not the best. And then when I went over to the Air Force base, Camp Air John, what is it called? Air John? Camp Air John over there in Kuwait, you know what I'm saying? I went over there to that dining facility on the Air Force base, and I was like, it was like a 5-star restaurant. They even had silverware. When we're in the Army and we're deployed, we don't even get silverware. We get them plastic spoons and them cardboard paper plates and all, or them styrofoam plates, man. When we went over to the Air Force base and we check out their dining facility, they had real porcelain glass plates. They had real silverware. They had real glass cups. And I know to a lot of y'all, that's no big deal. But when you're deployed somewhere in the desert, in the heat, and all you've been eating, all your eating utensils has been recyclable for the last 8 to 9, 10 months, and then you go over to the Air Force base and you see they got actual real silverware and real plates and real glass cups and everything, we're like, wow, these guys are upgraded. The Air Force is up there. Okay, the Air Force is bougie, you know what I'm saying? So Army personnel, not so much, man. We be struggling, man. We be out there sucking in Army personnel. Myth number 1, Army personnel gets paid a lot of money. That's not necessarily true, man. We get paid decent, but for what we go through, the stuff that we endure, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that we got to see, and the training stuff, being away from the family all the time, I mean, is it worth it? It depends on how you look at it, man. Because for some people it was worth it, others it's not. Like, you know what I'm saying, for me, when I first came in, it was definitely worth it. But now that I've been in over 10 years, you know, and I'm coming towards the end, I think I can do a lot more in the civilian side. So it just depends on how you look at it. If you're from the inner city and you grew up around drugs and gangs and poverty and violence, and you know what I'm saying, I think the military is a good stepping stone to get to that next level when it comes to, you know, bettering your life. But like I said, it just depends on how you look at it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not worth it, because the Army have changed my life and it helped me do certain things and make me realize and, you know what I'm saying, aim and project certain things that I think I wouldn't have if I wasn't in the military. So I do appreciate the Army for opening my eyes and bringing some insight to me. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the Army pay is not worth it, but we don't get paid a crazy amount of money that you civilians think, man. It's not, man. But anyways, let's get on to myth number 2. Myth number 2, man. I'm gonna answer these questions. I wrote them down on my phone so I don't forget, man, because these are the things that came up. Myth number 2: being in the military makes you a better trained shooter/killer.
Say ooh.
All right, so let me go ahead and talk about that myth. It depends on your job, honestly, because there's a lot of jobs in the Army that a lot of people don't even touch their weapons. They might touch their weapons once or twice a year. So it really depends on your military occupation. You know, it depends on your job whether or not you're going to be more trained of a shooter, more trained killer. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're infantry, you know, cavalry, artillery, you know what I'm saying, we train, you know, to shoot, and you know what I'm saying, we train a little bit more. Infantry, their tactics is a little bit more advanced than artillery. As artillerymen, we also do infantry type training depending on our deployments, depending on our future missions and stuff like that. So the same training that the infantry do, us artillerymen go through the same similar training. Like when I was in Germany, we did some stuff with the 75th Ranger Regiment over there. Shout out to the 75th Ranger Regiment in Grafenberg, Germany. You know, we did some training with them. So being an artilleryman, we're not just limited to just artillery. We're attached to cavalry, we're attached to infantry, we're attached to, you know, multiple special forces and stuff like that. So we have a little bit of advantage in getting more training out there to do different type of things. So if you're artillery, cavalry, infantry, if you're a tanker, you know what I'm saying, shout out to the tankers out there, all my infantry dudes out there, shout out to y'all, man. Air support, you gotta love air support, man. If you're a part of the JTAC, man, and you know what I'm saying, like, you know, all those are cool jobs that you actually train to shoot. You actually train, you know, to be a killer. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it sounds weird, but when you join the Army, like I said, it depends on your job. If you have a combat MOS in the Army, your job is to train to kill people. That's what your job is. Not everybody train to be a better shooter and trained to be killers. Not everybody, because you got the support MOSs, you got the fuelers, and you got the S shops, you know what I'm saying? The people, you know what I'm saying, supply, and I'm not knocking anybody, because at the end of the day, man, we need our support MOSs, because we can't do our jobs unless we have support out there to help us out, to make sure we have everything that we need, make sure our equipment is running, make sure we're good, make sure we got food in our bellies, man. So shout out to all the support MOSs out there, man. I'm not downplaying y'all, but it's just a myth that people think that everybody that's been in the military are trained to be shooters and killers, and that's not true, man. Like I said, it depends on your job. Anyways, let's move on to the third myth. Third myth that civilians have about military personnel: being in the military makes you a weapons expert. Civilians think when you're in the military, you become a weapons expert. You know every single weapon, you know everything about every single weapon, and that's not true, man, because at the end of the day, you're gonna learn whatever weapon systems that you use for your job. For us artillerymen, we use M4s, we use the pistols, the 9mm, the Berettas, the new SIGs and everything that's out there. We use the 240 Bravos, the 50 cal, the Modus, the big boy, Big Bertha, and we also shoot our artillery weapons, which is our cannons, so those are the weapons that we train on. Those are the weapons that we learn. Those are the weapons that we train to shoot. Those are the weapons that we shoot all the time. M4s, the 9mm pistols, the 240s, 50 cals, those are what we train on. That's what I train on, so that's what I know. When it comes to all the other weapon systems that are out there in different branches and stuff, we're not as familiar, because if we don't have them in our inventory, we don't train with them. We only train on what we got, so we don't know every single weapon system there is out there. Like when we go, when I was in Germany, we were learning a lot of the German weapons, like the what is it called, the G36, I believe it's called, the G36, G35. We shot some HKs over in Germany. So it just depends on what your job is. It depends on what unit you are in, what units you're attached to. That's going to depend on the amount of exposure to different weapons you're going to have. So it really depends. But no, not every single person who joined the military is a weapons expert. No, that's not true. We only train on the weapons that we have in our inventory, and whatever our attached units weapons are, we might get some hands-on training with that, but we're not experts in every single weapon systems out there, man. That's a big myth. No, we're not, man. Myth number 4: the military train, shoot, and qualify on their weapons all the time.
All the time.
It depends. Honestly, that one, it depends on the unit you're in, because I've been to some units where we train, we qualify, and we shoot a lot. I've been to some units like that where we shot a lot. Hell, when I was in Germany, there's a couple times we had to go to the range to qualify on Saturdays. We weren't happy about that, man. We still ain't happy about that smoke. First sergeant, whose bright idea was that? To go out on the range to go qualify on Saturday, man. We only got Saturday and Sunday. We out here wasting time on the range on Saturday when we could be doing this on Monday, man. Come on, man. Sorry for interrupting the video. I know you guys are all into it, but I need to take a quick second to give a big shout out and thank you to the channel sponsors, Wicked Arms Customs and Tactical Pontoon Triggers. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you guys for sponsoring the channel. Now let's get back to this content. But anyways, it really depends on your unit, man. Like I said, I've been in units where we shot all the time. We shot and trained and qualified all the time. We went to shoot houses, we went to the range, qualification lanes, we did it all the time. And then there's other units where soldiers might not qualify and touch their weapons in like a year and a half. I talked to a soldier that he was like, the last time I qualified on a weapon was in basic training. You know what I'm saying? So it just really depends. So that's a myth, man, to think that all military personnel were always constantly in the range training and shooting and qualifying. That's a myth, man. That's not true. It really depends on the unit. Some units train more than other units. Others train less. So it just depends on where you are. So if you're a first termer and you go to a unit where they shoot and train all the time, that's good. That's a good experience. It might seem annoying when you're new to the Army. You're going to the range all the time and you're training and you're qualifying. It might seem annoying, but When you go to a unit who doesn't, you're gonna be like, man, I miss my unit because we used to shoot a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on the unit. Not everybody trains all the time. Not everybody qualifies all the time. That's a big myth. It just depends on the unit and like I said, it depends on your job, because I'm pretty sure infantry cats, they train and they qualify all the time on their weapons, because that's the thing. Artillery, we train as much as infantry. We're always on the range. We're always training. We're always qualifying. Seems like we're always on the damn ranges. We're always in the field. So it depends on your job. Don't think that everybody that's been in the military shoots all the time and trains and qualify all the time. That's not true, man. It just depends on the unit, honestly. All right, let's move on. The fifth and final myth: all military personnel want to kill people. All right, man. All right, so some people think that all military personnel wants to just go out and kill people. They think that's all we think about. We wake up in the morning and we just first thing we think about is killing. That's not true, man. Honestly, from the people that I know, from my personal experience, from my personal interactions with people, nobody wants to kill anybody. You know what I'm saying? In the military, you don't wake up in the morning like, yeah, who am I gonna kill today? Who am I gonna shoot in the face today? That's not our mentality, man. But yes, we are trained. We are trained to shoot. We are trained to defend ourselves. We are trained to kill or be killed. Because at the end of the day, I want to go home to my family. You know what I'm saying? I want to go back home to my family. So if it's between me and this Taliban dude, you know what I'm saying, over here, who don't like America, who don't like Americans, and he just wants to cut my head off for no reason, if it's between me and him, I'm gonna choose me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna kill. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to come back home, man. Don't think that when you join the military, you go through a little brainwashing program and it brainwash you to be a killer, and all you want to do is kill. That's not true, man. That's not true. Most of us, the majority of military personnel, we don't want to hurt anybody. We really don't want to have to. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, we have to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we join up in the military. The military don't go out, spreading rainbows and giving out candies. I mean, I know in some missions you see, like, soldiers giving candies and stuff like that, but that's not what we join. We don't join the army we didn't join the military to hand out candies and soda pops. Like, we joined the military to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Do I want to have to kill somebody? No, but if the mission states that we have to go out and do what we got to do, then we're going to go out and do what we got to do, because that's what we joined up for. We have to do what we got to do. But do we want to? No, nobody wants to. But like I said, at the end of the day, if you see somebody about to kill a bunch of people for no reason, innocent people, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna stand there and watch, or are you gonna take action and do what you gotta do to stop it? Like, you know what I'm saying? So get this crazy myth out of your head that all military personnel just wants to go out and kill people, man. No, man, we don't want to, man. We just want to keep the peace, and we're just there to protect, and like I said, to protect the innocent, to protect the Constitution of the United States, all enemies, foreign and domestic, man. That's part of our oath. When we swore in the military, you swore in to defend the Constitution, the United States. You know what I'm saying? That's what you signed up for. So if it means that you have to take a life to do that, then I mean, that's just what it is. Am I proud of it? No. Am I bragging and boasting about it? No. Is it something that I'm happy about? No. But it's just part of our job. Our job is literally to destroy enemies. Then that's a nice way of saying it. Our job is to kill people at the end of the day. I know it sounds crazy, it's not politically correct, but our job is to kill and destroy any enemies of the United States. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. So don't think that military personnel, we just wake up in the morning, we just want to kill people. That's not what it is, man. It sucks because on another note, those are the 5 myths, but on another note, I want to talk about something real quick. It's like, whenever somebody does something, right, that's in the military, this person's ex-military, let's say somebody get arrested and they shot a bunch of people, they shot a bunch of cops, and this person served in the military, the news don't ever say, oh, Mr. John Johnson from North Carolina, they say John Johnson, ex-United States Army soldier. They try to attach the Army to it. You know, this dude John Johnson who shot some cops and killed some people, and that's just a made-up name, man. I don't know who John Johnson is, man. I'm sure there's a John Johnson, but I'm just making up the name. I'm not accusing John Johnson of killing anybody. That's just a random name that I'm picking. Let's say little John, you know what I'm saying, was joined the military back in 1995. You know, he was a supply. You know, you know what I'm saying? His job was supply. You know, he had to make sure that we had enough toilet paper when we go to the field, you know, and then he gets out the Army and then he loses his mind and he go and kill people. They're gonna say United States Army, you know, or ex-United States Army soldier Johnny Boy Johnson, you know, shot a bunch of people. You know, he's military trained in weapons. And no, Johnny Johnson was a damn supply sergeant who went to the range maybe twice the entire time he been in the military, barely qualified. He's that guy that we stay out in the field on the range all day because he can't qualify in his damn weapon system. Like, you know, he can't qualify as an M4. He can't qualify in the pistol range. We're there all day from 06 to 1800 in the afternoon. We're on the range waiting for John Johnson to qualify because he sucks. But when he gets out of the Army and do something, all of a sudden, oh, United States Army veteran Johnny Johnson, military trained, killed a bunch of people. And that's not true, man. Like, the news just like to use that just to, oh yeah, he's ex-military, he got military training. You know, people like to say that, military training. Just like military grade. You know, it's like so funny to me when I hear these politicians talk about, oh, military grade weapons. You don't need military grade weapons. I mean, if you've been in the military, man, you know the military grade is not it, man. The civilian sector have better equipment and better tactical gear than most military organizations, man. So when people say military grade, it's funny to me. I should have put that. Number 6, another myth that people think. You know what? I'm going to add that on there. Number 6, the number 6 myth that people think in the military is that they think that the word military grade means that it's the best of the best of the best. Military grade does not mean it's the best of the best of the best. It means it meets the military standards for whatever we need. Is it the best? No. If military grade meant the military had the best, all soldiers in the military would have Daniel Defense weapons. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Defense will be the number 1 contractor, but the military don't go with the best of the best. They go with the best that they want to pay for. You know what I'm saying? They go with the best within their budget. You know, so if this brand company over here, even though they have subpar quality, as long as it meets the military minimum standards, then that's military grade. It meets the minimum military standards. That's military grade. Military grade does not mean it's the best of the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? So that's another myth. Myth number 6, man. People think the word when something is military grade is the best of the best. No, man. Military grade just means it's the best company that meets the minimum military standards for the amount of money the military is willing to pay for them. You know what I'm saying? So there's better out there. There's way better. There's companies out there that has way better qualities than the military weapons that we have. But the military is not trying to pay for that high quality. It's just paying for this company. Okay, it meets the minimum standards. It's going to last in the battlefield. We'll take it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's another myth, man. Myth number 6, man. People think that military grade means it's the best of the best of the best. It's not, man. Military grade is just the minimum standards met. Military grade is the minimum standards met to be used in the military. So get that out your head, man. And like I said, man, hey, I'm not talking bad about the military, man. I'm still active duty, man. You know, I'm not gonna be in for much longer, but I'm not talking smack, man. I'm just spitting the real, man. But anyways, man, thank you guys for tuning in, man. That's it, man. That's today's episode. I know I said 5 in the beginning, but I added the military grade stuff in the end. So those are my 6 myths that civilians have about military army personnel, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. We'll see you guys in the next episode, man. Remember, be greater than you were yesterday. Always remember that we live to train and we train to live. Be prepared so when shit hits the fan, you don't have to get prepared, man. Staff Sarnseely with another episode. Hey, before I sign out, man, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost a thing to hit that subscribe button. It costs you $0 to hit the subscribe button, man. If you like our content, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button on the video. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you get notified every time we drop another bang, 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 banger of a video. It's your boy, Stats Aren't Silly, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.